We are live. When I go vertical, the camera gets confused. Oh, welcome in. I know no one's watching just yet, but this video is going to be up on the channel a little later. I am going to be dismantling stuff today. I might be doing this weekly, going live while I disassemble parts for the shop. So we've got kind of a modest influx today, but we did get a bunch of bits from KC Tool. I use all Vera bits, and that's my bit storage there, because we go through a lot of bits, and we try and keep the bits fresh so that we don't damage any tools or strip any screws when we're working on them. So first thing, we got our bit of thanks, which I'll set aside because I don't know what to do with it. And if you never order from KC Tool, they are the #1 kind of European tool, German tool seller that I would recommend in the US. I've ordered from a couple others, and it seems like the other shops are just waiting until something gets ordered, and then they're ordering from their supplier, and it can take weeks or months to get in. So I'm going to go ahead and restock my bits here. We're trying to get in touch with Vera to offer their bits on the site, and hopefully we'll be able to do that soon, because these are the ones I recommend. Now, what we have now are torque wrenches. We've got a couple. These are right now, the ones we're selling are manufactured by Eklund here in Illinois. I've got a bunch from another supplier that'll be going into stock soon. We'll swap those out for just a little bit, but then we're going back to Eklund. We've got an account with them, so I do recommend those. They're USA made. They're good bits, but and they're nice. We can keep them, relatively cheap, and they're nice to, if you're not gonna go big into modding and stuff, you don't need a ton of different bits. But if you're going to be using a lot of different bits, or you're going to be going through a lot of bits, it's nice to have the nicer handles from a proper size screwdriver. Let's see. Yeah, the bit sizes here, the ones we use are T6, T9, no, T6, T8, T9, T10. And T10 needs to be a security Torx with that little hole in the center. That'll cover all of the tools that we carry. So let's see, the Gerber truss, SOG power lock, and pretty much every Leatherman tool that doesn't use a specialty tool. And these this bit box is from a seller on Etsy, 3D prints these. He's got a magnet in every single hole, so good way to keep a ton of uniform bits organized. That went fast. Okay, let's dive in. So the first thing I'll do is I put down my silicone baking mat, which I use for dismantling, and then I've got my Bessie vise here. This used to suction. I used to have a stainless steel table that this would suction down onto, but now we just set it there. It's heavy enough base that it'll work. And actually, I'm going to set that aside for right now, because I'm going to start with our Gerber tools. Remove these all from the shipping packages so I don't dox myself again. I was thinking at the beginning that this might be a short live stream, but honestly, it's never really short to take apart all these tools, so maybe it will be a long one after all. Set the sheaths aside. Got here Gerber, seems a little shaky, an MP600 Pro Scout, which has the Remgrit saw, it's super popular. And then I also have the Gerber MP600 Blunt Nose, which has got a plain edge blade and a serrated blade, versus the combo blade that's in the other one. And I shipped that with the wrench. So I'm gonna set these sheaths aside. I gotta remember to, I didn't put those in stock earlier, so I gotta put those in stock here in a minute. First thing here, oops, that's a sneak preview at some future products, but I've got my spudger. Get these spudgers from iFixit. And this one I just chopped in half. Oh, that's the dehumidifier. Let's kill that while we're recording. I just chopped this in half so I can press those pins out of place. With something that's not going to mar. iFixit. I get a ton of stuff from iFixit too. I like that shop a lot. Big proponents of right to repair, which obviously I'm a fan of. So we got that frame dismantled. We'll go ahead and just do the other one as well. I put all of these parts into inventory ahead of time, which for one means we get everything done ahead of time. Goes without saying. And two, puts an immense amount of pressure on me not to shoot one of these clips across the room or damage a part during dismantling, because then I have to take it off the inventory, and it could have already sold. Okay, so we got both sets of those bad boys, the plier heads. I will grab one of our 4 lobe wrenches. These come in a 2-pack. I only use one for a lot of these, as long as you can keep the other side of the screw pressed in, because there's a cutout in the frame. I'll show you here in a second, but just rocking and rolling on that. Got brass punches so I don't scratch anything. Try and keep our tools out of the way. And then I've got some bin for the tabbed spacers here. Oops. All right, moving right along. I'd love to hear from anyone who has these tabbed wrenches, if they're consistently working for them. I just noticed a couple of weeks ago that that some of them that I have on hand are not engaging all the way down on these screws. And it seems like, I don't want to point fingers, but my assumption would be that it has to do with manufacturing tolerances on the screws themselves, which I can try and accommodate a little more. And don't get me wrong, they work just fine, even when they're a little bit snug. But I've been wondering if it would be beneficial to expand the hole, you know, and it would be fractions of a millimeter. Am I back? I got a phone call. I gotta remember to turn on Do Not Disturb. Looks like I'm still live. Hopefully it's still working. Mics are still active. Yeah, Do Not Disturb needs to be on when I live stream, because I get a phone call and the whole screen goes wibbly wobbly. So I was trying to take apart the Gerbers and the like the rebar super tool style tools that use these wrenches first, before I jump into stuff that needs the big boy tools and the big boy vise. I know no one's on the live at this moment. Curious. I don't have any way of viewing the chat. I'm gonna have to figure that out for the next live stream when I hit it big. Okay. No, I got one more side of this tool. And you can see, you can see there, that side of the tool matches the screws, so one side of the screw won't spin. You can kind of see it there, and this side, see how the one on your left is sticking out more? That's the side that's going to spin. So as long as you keep a little pressure on the back, you can use the frame of the tool as your second wrench. We still sell them in a 2-pack, just so you have options. You can see here, it's not, this is what I mean, it's not engaging all the way. It's flush with the top, it's just not going through there. I wonder if this side's, no, it's both sides. But I've been using the same wrench all day, so likely it is a tolerance in the screws themselves, and maybe they're either getting thicker or I had some thin samples when I was testing these. Our sales on the MP600 parts have definitely increased of late. It's actually not a bad thing, because then your wrench doesn't slip down through the screw and removes one element of error. All right, that's the last of our Gerber screws. See how much Loctite they use. They use so much Loctite sometimes, not just Gerber, just in general, but they use so much Loctite that it's effectively glued in. Couple things we can do. Cover your ears. This is about to get loud. Come on now. There it goes. Broke that free with my teeny tiny hammer. Recommend everybody have a teeny tiny hammer. And we've got our tabbed spacers, our lanyard ring, another Phillips. There's that serrated and plain edge blade I was talking about versus the combo that you get on the Scout, I think. Okay. I'll grab a couple of Ziplocs or zip bags, bag up. Everything kind of gets bagged a little bit differently. Most stuff doesn't get bagged, I should say. But when you've got all this teeny tiny hardware and these plier heads have little springs and little push buttons and little circlips, I gotta get those bagged up. And then same thing with the frames. Just don't want to forget the lanyard ring. I got some fruit snacks sitting over here. I brought in as a snack, and they're calling my name. I'm not going to do that to you guys. My brother has misophonia, and I'd hate to do that to you guys. Oh, excuse me. All right. And then these will go into our storage system, which is just a crap ton of drawers. I really am a big fan of the Gerber lineup of multi-tools. I don't think they get enough credit. The tools from all of them are like so interchangeable that it's just amazing. All right, what do we got now? We got a Wave. I checked this one earlier. Everything gets inspected. An extra sheet that's got to get put into inventory. I forgot. Let's grab. I've been working on, which one's the blade? There we go. Lost my thumb bars. I want to put them back in. But I've been working on a free T2 to keep in the shop, but because I'm working on it, it's not in the shop, and now I've started relying on my PowerPoint to do all sorts of shoply tasks, and starting to think I don't need the free T2. Whatever. I got these free P4s on a really good deal. There was talk of them being discontinued, which I don't believe is the case. Still pretty widely available. But there was definitely a little supply chain issue, so. By the way, let me know if you guys would be interested in these. I've got these thumb bars for the power pint. I don't know if you can even see them. There you go, you can kind of see it. There are, same as our resin printed thumb bars everywhere else, but what's awesome about them on the power pint is if I want to use the knife blade, first of all, it becomes one-handed, which it's not kind of out of the box. It's a little difficult. But two, once that's locked, if I want to close this, instead of opening the tool and using the lever, I can just finger or reverse flick out the file, and now both close. And that's, I don't know, I think it's super handy. 15 minutes, rocking and rolling. All right, let's pull up, I don't know what, we got our T10 bits in, so we're gonna pull up our wave in our vise. Let me see how do you guys, what's the best way for you guys to see this? How can I make this as difficult on myself as possible? We're gonna go kind of an angle, I think. So I've got my two drivers here. One of them's a nice big screwdriver, and the other is a custom sort of an L handle. And we're gonna, ooh, there's a slip there. I don't know if that was user error. Feels like it was user error. Well, as soon as I feel a slip, I gotta worry whether it's got too much Loctite from the factory. It could have, I mean, sometimes it has a ton of Loctite. It could also be, oh, that was silly, but we're gonna keep going. It could also be a malformed screw head, or my bit could be wearing out. Those are all realistic possibilities, and I try and determine that before continuing because I don't want to damage the screw heads any more than I have to. If it's a bit, I replace it with a fresh bit. If it's a malformed screw head, which isn't super common, but it happens, I go in with my Knipex twin grips. I got a pair of these. When the stuff really hits the fan, I'll go in with those and just rip that thing apart. And then if it's too much Loctite, I can go in, where's my screwdriver? Go in with my soldering iron and apply some heat to the screw head. That'll, you know, make its way down to the Loctite. You really don't have to get it that hot to get that Loctite to loosen up. I imagine that is intentional on Loctite's part. But you don't have to go that far to get it unlocked. So that's a nice feature. I'm usually a little faster, but everything's in the wrong place because I'm set up for streaming. Oops, I want to lose that washer. Ew. All right, there's our big tools. I got 5 more waves coming in next week. I was really having trouble finding them last week for some reason. Quick tip if you're doing this at home. You may be familiar with how the pivots are arranged in a wave, with one of them being locked or keyed so it doesn't spin. So if you orient it this way with the tools facing up, the one on the left wants to stay static. So I always orient it that way, and then my right hand moves, my left hand kind of stays the same. Excuse me. Try to do that out of camera, or out of the microphone range. Microphones are still up and running. That's good news. And we're going to take this bad boy apart. And it should just come out just like that. If you start to turn that one, it'll really get tricky on you. So I always do a little dump ski. I don't know if you saw that. And I will remove those keyed washers and set out the tools. If you were the person who emailed me earlier asking for scissors, they will be in stock this afternoon. And I've, as always, got a drawer full of, there's my keyed washers. I don't really use these. They're not completely worthless, but they, we sell spacer packs. And what I like about these is you've got a lot of different thicknesses. They're not keyed the same way. So there is some benefit to saving your washers when you're dismantling a tool. But the Leatherman keyed washers I don't feel work as well as the Gerber ones, which have that big tab to keep it locked in place. The whole idea is that the washers don't spin and the pivot doesn't spin, which means that the tool next to the one you're pulling out doesn't spin. So it's not affected by anything spinning because everything else is locked in place. And that prevents things from clumping, which of course now is the whole design system between the 3 series. You don't have those keyed washers, so everything just clumps together and actually works quite well. I'm a big fan of the 3 series and of course the Arc. I recommend them to anyone who wants to spend a ton of money on a multi-tool. So we'll bag up our parts. Everything still looks good. And let's make sure we keep these together. This is 1, 2, 3 inch. Checking on the side of the frame. And 4, 5, 6 comes with the lanyard ring. That's Leatherman's decision. It's not my decision. But I don't think I would sell very many if I switched the lanyard ring to 1, 2, 3. Well, I would sell 1, 2, 3, but I wouldn't sell the other side. And I'd end up with too many. I don't know. Sorts of things I think about when I'm trapped on my own in the shop with the lights off. The lights are on a motion sensor here, and they turn off after a certain amount of time, and I am behind a wall of drawers, which means the motion sensors don't see me, and the lights cut off after 10 or 15 minutes. All right, first thing you got to do, whoops, I'm losing my tool up here. First thing we got to do with we got 2 free series tools. We got to take it apart, take off the pocket clip. I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret if you're watching 20 minutes into this video, 22.58 or 23 minutes. If you're watching this far, there's a secret. If you want a pocket clip for any of your free series tools, go to my shop and buy the free series frame with pocket clip. It's like, I think last I checked, it was $3.99, free shipping. Because people aren't buying them. They're buying the regular frame. They're not buying the frame with the pocket clip. So it's even cheaper than the frame without the pocket clip. And you can just take the pocket clip. It's cheaper than Leatherman sells the pocket clip. We run our store off of mathematics. There's nothing I can do about it. So until you guys start buying them, the price is going to stay low. And I don't know, you get crazy. Somebody needs to buy these things. I'm going to just shift my bits around and grab some T8s for the P4. Some T8s for the P4. Talked to Zap Wizard on his live streams. I don't know if you guys watch him. He does a bunch of 3D printing parts and or for Leatherman, as well as Fallout. I think I've seen a lot lately. He uses T9s for the free series, and I don't know how he does it. I mean, I'm sure they work, but the T9s from Vera don't fit. I think there's so much wiggle room with tolerances that you do what you do. So I'm going to pop out this guy. Speaking of Zap Wizard, one of the things, probably, I think the only thing I've bought from him so far is his holster for the Arc series, for the Arc tools, and that shouldn't matter. And it's 3D printed. He sells it on Shapeways, and I don't know if you guys have heard, but Shapeways is no more. Shapeways went bankrupt the other day, is what I read. And we were just about to launch a Shapeways store. We're dealing with finding manufacturers now outside of Shapeways in order to 3D print some parts, but they won't be print on demand like at Shapeways, which means there's a lot more overhead on our end. Now, luckily, going outside of Shapeways, the things cost much, much, much less. So we may end up saving money in the long run and being able to offer stuff for an even cheaper price. Well, don't quote me on that. But it's interesting. I don't know what's going to happen to, I mean, there's a lot of 3D printed designs from Metro Grade Goods and Zap Wizard and others that only lived on Shapeways. And I don't know what's going to happen. It's an industry shift, I think, to some degree. And we're a very small niche sort of group of people, I feel. And check out later today. I tried a little later, nothing. Did we lose? Are we out? What's going on? Oh, I just looked up and we're not. There we go. I don't know where I got super choppy there, but anyway, Shapeways is on. And I was trying to order from them to do another test run and dialing in the specs on some of the products we're going to be launching here and hopefully by the end of the summer. But we've had to go to another manufacturer, and I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Hope that, I know, you know, Zap Wizard's sheaths are awesome, and I hope that there's a way that they become available again here in the near future, because I'd hate to see them, you know, just disappear off the face of the planet. Go to our smaller punch here for the Free Series tool side, since that is a smaller pivot. It's 3.5 millimeter, 3.3 millimeter, I think is the last time I checked. And start removing all of the pieces without losing any. I saw on Reddit the other day, somebody had a washer fall out, and it's one of these, oops, these smaller diameter, thicker, I can't apparently pick it up. Let's see. There we go. This small diameter, thick washer that's used to space the blade off the frame, because there's this kind of contour. And I think it turned out they ended up, it didn't come, you know, it wasn't misassembled. It was just an extra washer that was put in to their tool, or got stuck, in my opinion, most likely got stuck to the magnet. And I started thinking about how impossibly difficult it would be to work on these Free Series tools with all of these magnets. And I mean, some of these tools become kind of slightly magnetized, and none of these might be, but become slightly magnetized as they sit in next to a magnet and get operated and moved and all of that. And couldn't imagine working in a factory with all those magnets and all those tools that have become magnetized slowly over time. Having to position this quite awkwardly in order to get out of the way of all the things I've taken apart thus far. We're gonna go, yeah, we gotta go nice and slow. I don't know if you saw that. These Free Series tool side pivots, they slip. They're shallow. They're shallow, and I don't like how they designed those. You gotta be gentle and precise, but there's no damage to it, so we good. Oops, that piece came from there. Must have, because I haven't taken apart any others. And blade side has to get jimmied. Okay. Oh my goodness. See, there goes the plastic piece. I mean, not only do you have to worry about things getting magnetized, you get to worry about things that aren't magnetic. So we're just pulling all the tools out of the first guy. Set that magnet in there gently. All of the, well, the frame spacers, these guys, not the thin ones, and the frame, and all of the pivots, and the spring bars, and the lock bar, I'll go with their respective frames. I'm going to do this next one off camera here, just because it's an awkward position. And I'll probably just stick my elbow right into the camera frame. And you're going to be like, that's awkward. Oh my goodness. All right, hold on. Reposition everything. Ay. I think I put a title on this live stream. That might have been a mistake. People are joining like, oh, let's see what's going on. This is an empty screen with a bunch of Leatherman pieces and this dude who won't stop yapping. These guys are tough. Sometimes. Usually not, but I'm on camera now, so. Well, sort of. There we go. Lots of Loctite, always lots of Loctite. Let's make sure we put these in the correct spot. Yes, that's what I forgot. Now, all of the frames, no, they're not. I gotta be careful here. I get confused. Yes, okay. So the frames on the free P4 are different from the ARC. The ARC has 4 identical, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 identical frame pieces that are just reoriented. No, it's got 4 pairs of 2 pairs of 4. There's 2 style ARC pieces, but all of them have the tapped holes for the pocket clip. The free P4 does not. So I got to make sure that I put this frame with the tapped holes and this frame with the tapped holes in the with the pocket clips, so that people don't get mad at me later, which I can't handle. I don't like people being mad at me. I do not like it, Sam. I am. All right, let's see. I took this apart in a weird way, but we will overcome. Bada bing. Duh. Boom. Okay. And that washer we got on there to start. And last piece. Oh, this isn't, 33 minutes. We're wrapping up here. I'm going to do this again off camera just because I don't have any room left on the camera. Just loosen up that pivot. If you are in the live stream, I can't see the chat right now. I'm sorry, guys. I should have thought this through, but I'm just going to assume no one's here because it helps calm my nerves. So, not to worry. It's not a waste of time. Oh, hey-oh. There we go. I put the screw there already. Oh, okay. We got the last piece. Well, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you joining in, both live and after the fact. I hope some of this was insightful or interesting, perhaps even. Dare I say. I do this every week. Take apart to see there's a magnetic piece. That's not supposed to, there's no reason for that to stick other than the tool slowly got magnetized. But I do this every week. I'm thinking about jumping on live streams every week just to say thanks, answer your guys' questions, if there are any. And I just put in about $1,700 on Multitools from a few different sources. So there's going to be a fair few next week to take apart. We might have to jump on the live stream again. That's everything there. I'm going to get these put away, and I think that's where I'm going to leave you. I'm going to finally eat my fruit snacks, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching the live. We'll talk to you soon.